so wholesome. Wow, that's the first time I've been the guy tossed in the air. I'm just so glad that everyone's back. Zelda, try. Before I met you, I actually regretted becoming a chief. Felt like a mistake. But I don't think it was. I'm just finding my own way of doing things. I know you'll have to go mend more rifts soon, but I'm gonna keep leading my people here. Thank you so much for all your help. Darston, come over here, will ya? Sounds like I'm needed. Coming. Come back to Goron City whenever you like. You're always welcome here. Darston's changed a lot from when we met him. He had so much trouble deciding things before. Now he's confident and his friends are smiling. I guess he's happy to be relied on. I'm glad we mended the Elden Volcano Rift, and we received a sanction from the Goddess Din. This just leaves the Fair and Wetlands Rift. Only one left. Let's get going, Zelda. I could potentially beat this game tonight. And yes, I would say Bravely Default 2 is really that bad. It's one of those games that I've really wanted to make a video essay on before, but I've just never had the time. How the heck do I get there? Maybe I should just do my Bravely Default 2 ramble. And then it's, something that fills the void of going from point A to point B here anyway. Like the Bravely Default 1, but the online functionality being killed hurt your motivation to play it? What would be the online functionality? Just like sharing the, oh, like the My Village and stuff. They're rebuilding Tiz's village and, sharing people around and stuff like that. It's still very much worth playing. I love Bravely Default and I love Bravely Second. Like, they're really good games. But Bravely Default 2, oh my god, that's gotta be like one of my least favorite RPGs of all time. Like, where do I even start with that game? Yeah, that's fair there. It's an aspect that I never really did a whole lot of, so... Oh, gosh dang it! Well, I'm not at full health now. So... bring it around, and maybe I'll find a way in there? Sure, let's do a Bravely Default 2 ramble, because... what else am I gonna be talking about while this is going on here? First of all, I really don't like the art style. Like, it worked on the 3DS, but doing it on the Switch just feels out of place and wrong, I feel like. Like, it just feels like a mobile game, the style. I'm really not a big fan of it. Apparently the strongest spells are all just inaccessible now. Oh, jeez. I didn't know about that. So, I mean, let's kind of go through the story here. So it kind of follows the same initial premise of Bravely Default 1. Of, like, go around the world, restore the 4 crystals, and yada yada. Oh, let's go ahead and do this. And your Seth / you can set your name as whatever you want, so none of the characters will ever refer to Seth by name. And he's just like, Tiz was an actual character with like development and actual impact in the story. Seth is literally like the most generic protagonist ever, and anytime any character ever praises him, it's the most generic praise that can be given to literally anybody ever, whenever they're complimenting him on anything. Like, there's never anything that's uniquely him. So, he's just like blank slate character that you're meant to abstract yourself onto. Even though he does speak and do stuff and would have been better as like a Tiz character who's like an actual character rather than a blank slate character that just feels bland and boring. There was that. We meet Gloria, who's like the princess of this fallen kingdom, and her steward or caretaker or whatever the heck, Sloane, that is always at her side and helping her out, and Seth decides to go along with her. And on our way out, we meet our big bads. We find Adam, who's like our initial main big bad. And he comes and he wants to wreck us because we have I think we have the wind crystal or something. We have something or other. We have some crystal that's like super important. So he comes and ambushes us. Like, this is gonna be spoiler for all of Bravely Default 2, by the way, but like, whatever, who cares about that? He comes and ambushes us and is like, hey, I need that from you, but I'm also going to kill you just because I feel like it and you're standing in my way. So then Sloane is like, oh, go get away from here. I'll hold him off. So the main heroes keep on running away, and Sloane is fighting him in like seemingly in really close combat. And then, hold on, let's see here. There are rifts all around here. One of them looks pretty big. Should we go and take a look at it? Yep. We most definitely should here. And like it seems pretty even, and they're like going at a fight in like the super goofy chibi fight that's happening there. And then Sloan is like, oh, I'm gonna have to do like my ultimate thing. And so he jumps into the air and then dive bombs Adam, and he explodes. So a meme in the Bravely Default playthrough was Explode, because that's what he was. He was Explode. And so you'd think then Adam would be like, oh man, like he gravely wounded me. I have no choice but to retreat now. Like do something so that the heroes get away. But instead Adam's just like emerges from the smoke. Not a single scratch anywhere on his body. It's like none of that ever even happened. And he's like, I don't feel like killing those other people anymore. I changed my mind. I guess I'm gonna leave now. So he just exploded for nothing. No reason. The mentor figure kills himself in a self-sacrifice at the beginning of the game for no reason. It accomplishes nothing. Like, that's not what causes the villain to retreat and the heroes to be able to get away. The villain just doesn't feel like killing the heroes anymore. He was being mean a second ago, but now he decides he's not to now that he was hit with Explode. So then we also meet Adele and Elvis that are like trekking around, and they want to join us on a journey because Adele, she's looking for her sister, and Elvis is like accompanying her as like a mercenary or something like that. I don't even remember. So you go around doing all the crap with all the crystals and stuff. And you find out that later on that Adele's sister is like your new big bad for now. Or, no, it's that Adele's sister is working with Adam, who's like our initial antagonist. So, like, after you've done the things with the 3 crystals, and now it's just the wind one left, you need to go to the enemy's home base. And, whoops. Where Adam's doing stuff. And you're in the city for like 5 minutes before you hop on an airship and it takes off, so you barely get to see any of the stuff. And that's like Adam's evil plan, is he wanted to use that crystal that he stole from you to use like an airship. And his whole villain motivation is like, man, people suck. If I rule everything, then I can just make sure that things don't suck so that people stop fighting over one another. And like he's working with Adele's sister that she's been looking for. And so eventually you do like the Adam boss fight and you beat him. And the airship starts going down and is being destroyed. And then Adele's sister like flies off to go do evil things. And then Adam is like, you must stop her from doing her evil plans. Here, take the wind crystal that I stole from you. And then he sacrifices himself. And it's like, what do you mean you mustn't let her accomplish her evil plans and you have to stop her? You were just working with her 20 seconds ago. If you thought she was some evil person that had to be stopped, then why were you working with her? They were literally just buddy-buddy a second ago, and then you defeat him, and she flies off to go do evil things, and he's like, no, you must stop her. Take the wind crystal and don't let my sacrifice be in vain. And it's so dumb. You don't look like a Dexter Scrub with that, Gab. You're clearly an out-of-towner. I'll answer your questions if you have any. Where am I? You're in fair wetlands, not an easy part of the world to live in. Gotta be tough, or this place will gobble you up. More questions, Deku Scrubs? We're folks who keep up with the latest trends, and we're cute too. Basically, we're the best. Oh, this scrub next to me went underground. You just have to yank them out if you wanted to talk to them. More questions? So I can do this. You plucked me. I guess there's something you want to talk about? Fair and wetlands? Frog monsters, electric monsters, recent trends. What do you want to know about? I'm not interested, honestly. Let's keep on moving here. So yeah, then you go out to go face Adele's sister. And you go face her and beat her, and the game doesn't end, and it just, like, I think it's a bad ending, where the bad guys get what they want anyway, and then, like, you reload your save data, and it's just, like, right before the boss battle. And the other Bravely Default games have experimented with factoring in it is a video game as part of its storytelling, and that's something that I've really liked. In the wise words of Detective Pikachu, who has been manipulating my plans, it was who was taking advantage of my plans, or who could have taken advantage of my plans, or whatever the heck. The legendary line there. That was basically what was going on with Adam, except not. No plans, yeah, it was just dumb. I don't get it. It's something like that. But I do like how all the previous games would factor in the fact that it's a video game into the plot. And Bravely Default 2 tries to do that, but, like, it really fails at it. So, like, I do the boss, I get the bad ending, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's something else I need to do, like, maybe I need to beat the boss in a certain way, or X amount of turns, And I faced the boss, like, I think another time and failed and got the bad ending again. Or, well, like, succeeded and got the bad ending again, I should say. I was just very confused. And I had to Google it. Like, what I even do. The answer? You leave. You leave the area. You load your save of, like, before the boss room of what's, like, initially the final battle there. And you just leave the room. And then a new cutscene happens of the characters being like, Seth, where are you going? What are you doing? He's like, you know, I just don't feel right about this. There's gotta be another way. Maybe we shouldn't fight her. And the other characters are like, okay. And you leave, and then the story advances. It's like, how are you supposed to know that? And then, like, the true big bad, the Knight's Nexus, takes over Adele's sister. And then you never hear about her again. Like, Adele spent the entire game looking for her sister. And after you've done, like, that initial fake battle and, like, left by deciding not to fight her, she's never mentioned, like, ever again for the entire rest of the game, even though, like, she's presumably died. Like, I've seen some people say that apparently if the Knight's Nexus takes somebody, like, all the memories of them are erased or something like that. I think I heard at one point, but still, the fact that she's never mentioned again when she was a key plot point is so dumb. So now our main enemy is the Knight's Nexus, and we have to go after that. That's our true big bad all along. There's a rift inside this structure. You wait here. I'll go in and see if I can make an entrance. Well, you can't make an entrance, but you will say, yep, the entrance is definitely there. Yes, I'll be able to do it. But you can't get in there if the door's shut. Hey, you! What are you standing there for? We're not letting you in the sweet spot. The sweet spot? Look at that blank expression. The telltale sign of a bumpkin. First time in the city, huh? Alright, let us tell you what's what. The sweet spot is a place that serves all-you-can-eat treats, but it's members only. That's right, if you want to be a member, you need a membership card. They're all spoken for. Bad luck for you. Got all that? No card, no going in, so get scramming. But the rift is right there. I guess we'll have to find one of those membership cards. I guess so. So now our big bad is the Knight's Nexus. And I don't remember exactly what happens from there. I know that it's during one of the previous chapters that's revealed that Adele is a fairy, and that comes into play in the story, like, more so coming up there. Can we roast a monkey? Yeah, Majora's Mask intensifies. And I know that there's, like, a way that we can... I'm pretty sure there's a way that we can face the Knight's Nexus, and... what exactly happens there? Either we seemingly defeat it, but not, or we fail. Either way, there's another pretend final battle that just leads to a bad ending. Where, like, the whole fairy place that's, like, secreted away gets basically destroyed by the Knight's Nexus. And I forget whether it's, like, Adele or Elvis that sacrifices themselves to go along with the end of the fairy place, even though they could have just not been there when the fairy place was basically destroyed. I don't remember exactly how it worked, because it wasn't super memorable, but there was, like, another debate bad end kind of thing. So, what you need to do to get the true ending is you need to go to the fairies for advice, because they know a little bit about the Knight's Nexus. Buzz, Blob, Echo. So you need to go to them for advice. So, then you go to the fairy place, and they're like, oh, so you want to defeat the Knight's Nexus? Okay, go to, like, the deepest depths of this cave that's, like, behind our village, and you'll find something that'll help you there to defeat the Knight's Nexus. That's where you need to go. So you go there, and you know what it is? It's the fucking Knight's Nexus! For real this time! It's the actual final boss at the bottom of that cave! Like, what? So you're supposed to go to this village to get advice about how to, like, beat the final boss, get some information. And they're like, oh, go to the bottom of the cave, you'll find what you need there. Surprise, it's the final boss for real this time, just out of the blue. And then when you beat it, like, it's for real that time. It's like, what? How did this come to be? I thought I was trying to get something there that would be, like, the key to victory, not the final boss, in a way that I can actually beat it for real this time. How did it get there? What even is the Knight's Nexus? As far as I'm aware, this is never explained in game. Check. Hey. Oh, maybe I could have checked these all along. Yeah, so there's 2 bad endings that you need to go through twice to keep on progressing. And then the good ending just comes out of nowhere. Go here to get the thing you need to defeat the final boss. Surprise, it's actually the final boss, and when you defeat it this time, you actually defeat it for real and beat the game. Hello, I'm the stab guy. I've loved stamps since I was a tiny tot. Now I'm Hyrule's biggest stamp fan. Yeah, I guess I could have interacted with these all along. But you're curious about this stand. This is a stamp stand. A stand for stamping stamps. Our stamp's great. That plunk when you press one down. To leave a stamp behind. Plunktacular from start to finish. That's why I love a stamp rally. Traveling for stamps, collecting them all. Sounds fun, right? Well, I've created a stamp rally with stamp stands all over Hyrule. Ready to rally? I bet you're rally excited. I am. Yeah, you are. Okay, here's your stamp card. Oh, I should have been visiting these, huh? Oh, well, you got the first stamp card. Stamp card is for Stamp Rally beginners. It was handmade by a stamp guy, and it looks like it. I just assumed that there was like some power or ability that I didn't have yet to interact with these and just didn't bother going up to them. I know you're gonna have fun, because I had fun making it. Now get a stamping like you've never stamped before. The art! I love that. The one thing that's not chibi. It looks like that. Oh man, that's good. That's my favorite part of the game so far. Look for stands like this all over the world and get every stamp. But hey, there aren't any stands underwater or in buildings. And they're not in caves either. That'd be way too dangerous for my tastes. Give you a reward if you fill up that card with stamps. Push yourself to find them. Okay, all together now. Ready, set, go Stamp Rally! And there was another segment of the story I really didn't like, and now I don't remember where it takes place. Whether it was like the approach to the fairy place, or whether it was like the approach to like the second bad ending. I don't remember, but there's like one segment of the game right towards the end, where all the Bravely Default games, again, factor in the fact that they are video games and other players exist into their story, which I find like really cool. But in Bravely Default 2, how it does it is you get onto this island. I think it must be before the second bad ending, because that must be where you fight the Knight's Nexus like the first time. I don't remember though. But you get onto this fog island, and there's obstacles in your way. And like you interact with them, and then it's like, the boulders were cleared by X player name. And then the main characters are like, huh? What just happened? And it's never delved into in the story. Like, in the plot line of Bravely Default and Bravely Second, it's a key part of the plot that other parallel worlds exist, and those are the other players' world, like the parallel universes, all these different players and their builds and stuff like that. And slight spoiler, I guess, there's like a triumphant moment at the end of Bravely Default where it's like, hey, you're being assisted by like the heroes of other worlds that as part of the story are other real players, is the idea. And I think that's like a really cool story concept, and it's really impactful having that be at the end. And like this acknowledgement of all the different worlds. Like the different worlds is like a really, really big part of the plot of that game. But in Bravely Default 2, the whole other worlds and other players thing is just, here's some obstacles in your way, interact with them. The so-and-so was cleared by X player name. The characters having no idea what just happened, and then it's never brought up ever again. Like, so it's so dumb. So it felt very much like something where they just felt obligated to include as an aspect, considering the previous games included as an aspect where there was other players, but they just don't use it in like any way. Apparently other players supposedly clear obstacles. The characters in game have no idea what happened and never talk about it ever again. Like, got a Might Crystal. Oh yeah, I was gonna go to the place. Maybe upgrade something with the 10. I'll figure out what the heck is going on here first. Probably go to like here or something, and then I'll figure it out. And once I get another fast travel thing, then I can fast travel there and back. I mean, technically Persona 4 has multiple bad endings, but it actually tries doing stuff with them and has reasons for them. And one of them is extremely secret, and your average person is never going to find them in a first playthrough. If I want to think about like bad endings in a video game, think about Persona, I'll think of like Persona 5 Royal with the whole like new exclusive Maruki story, where it's like you can go with the let him do his thing route. And then all the characters are like super smiley and happy at the end, and Maruki's taking a picture of the cast, and then he's walking away into the sunset. Maybe it's not into the sunset, but he's walking away, and all the cast are like, thank you, like whoever you are, and he waves see ya, and it's like, it's not bad per se, but it's not the right ending. It's not the world being returned to rights, and there's something like off-putting about it. Like, that's a way that you should do a bad ending. Like, that's a cool way to do it, I find. Definitely a lot more interesting than Persona 5's bad ending, honestly, but that one is so lame, and honestly it would be better not being there. Like, I assume we're not talking about the same one, then. Probably not the Royal one. Like, because I know that there are other bad endings in Persona 5, like the main one is just, like, anytime you don't do the deadline and then you get arrested. Or, Isn't there one where it's like you, yeah, that one there, I was about to say, isn't there some one where, like, Akechi actually kills you if you just suck? Have you had something from the shop? Yeah, that one is just, like, there's not really any purpose behind that. The Maruki bad ending, that's a good bad ending in a video game. I quite like that one. But, yeah, just getting shot by Akechi is like, okay, what's the point? Yeah, it's literally the same scene, but it actually happens in reality and not the metaverse. Persona 5 spoilers. I'm talking about a smoothie, so fresh, perfect for a hot day. Meanwhile, everyone is on the cotton candy bandwagon. I don't care how uncool it makes me, I'll never stop buying smoothies. There's smoothies here? Because I could restock on some smoothies. Hi! Business scrub, smoothies, hell yeah! So what element would a boss here use, do you think? Fire, cold, probably none of those thingamabobs. Electricity, maybe? Get some, get like a super electricity thing that might help me with the next boss? I don't know. Oh, maybe I should actually see this scene. There's a different animation here compared to the other ones. Yeah, lightning for 3 minutes. Yeah, that could help me. I have a few, oh, I have a couple of these already. Because I don't really need to make any more. Alright, just make me some Healy things. Now. Just make me some of those, because I would like to have some in my pocket. That will definitely be pretty handy. Here, got a sweet refreshing smoothie. And then I want... restore some of the drinker's energy. Here, and then that'll be like a full energy restore or something, maybe? I don't know. Definitely not worth doing all of Persona 4's bad endings, though. Okay, yeah, I probably won't then when the time comes. I have a couple unfortunate smoothies now. That's fine, I guess. Here, double grape. That's what we'll do, sure. I wonder if there's a place I can buy smoothie ingredients. I hope so. Got a refreshing smoothie. What? Double grape is just 5? Wow, okay, that sucks. Alright, so then, like, grape and... yeah. Grape and mango. Gosh dang it, there's an input delay before I can press up. Yeah, do all that, alrighty. You're a smoothie. You got a refreshing mixed smoothie. Yeah, that's all the things there. Oh, you got too many drinks. Gotta make some space first. Alright. There might be some story stuff coming up, so I'll continue my ramble afterwards, because that's all the story stuff that I can ramble about with Bravely Default 2, but there's a lot of gameplay things as well. But before I start rambling about that, I gotta make sure that there isn't, like, some immediate super long cutscene that's gonna be going on with, like, the Dekus here. Where they start roasting a monkey. Delish! Oh, there's the cotton candy craze, that's what it is. I thought it was like a wasp nest at first, I'm gonna be honest. Cotton candy's so tasty, you never guess it was made out of spider webs, oh. I know, I was worried when that big patch of dark thorn showed up at the sweet spot. But then the great spider came out and started spinning its webs. Sweet yummy goodness! You can say that again. They're eating spider webs. I'm surprised they can talk. Their mouths are so sticky. Zelda, please don't try that stuff. Well, wasn't planning on it here. I think it's just the initial bad endings. The other ones are just punishment for figuring out what's going on, but the initial ones do have really interesting dialogue. Okay. At least there's something interesting to think about. Okay. Exotic butters. I've never felt the need to use, like, glowiness in this game. It's gotta be connected. Like, I guess it's meant to be used in those underwater passages, but, like, I haven't really cared all that much. Those berries back there that look like big blueberries kind of look like the berries that I've been growing here that have only just started getting ripe, like, super late in the season, September 28th, because it only came up from the ground, like, really late. But it's called Purple Hell Tomato. I tried my first one ever yesterday. I've been munching a couple today. I don't know how to describe their taste. There's something completely different, because it's, like, a wholly unique species that, like, I've never tried before. They have, like, an initial taste and then, like, a very different aftertaste, and they're really interesting. They're in the same plant family as tomatoes, and flavor-wise, I do think I like tomatoes more, but the Purple Hell tomatoes are interesting. And they look just like that. Those clothes, that confused look. I know what you are. You're a bumpkin. Ever seen rain before, bumpkin? Here in Fair and Wetlands, we get sunny days and we get rain. Well, you might call a mix. I noticed something. Before the rain starts, a monster makes a sound. I think that monster must be causing the rain. But what is it? Well, rain's a good thing, so thanks for that monster. See that look in your eyes. You want to get to the bottom of it, too. Okay, fine. I'll let you help. I was having trouble on my own anyway. Go find the monster and bring it my way. Your best bet's probably to look in places where it's raining. I'll be waiting here. Well, if it happens to be on my way, I guess. There's gotta be someone that I have to talk to here for like a membership thing, right? Something. Say, is it true you have a membership card for the sweet spot? What? No, who told you that? That's so ridiculous. I'm actually laughing. It's a little suspicious how much you're trying to deny it. If you've got someone staring at his membership card, then the secret bad ending I will tell you to save at the date of it, and then go back to it at some point. Can't say how to do it right away because it requires some spoilers and it won't flow amazingly. Oh, weird. Unless everyone asks me that. I don't have a membership card, okay? Who are you anyway? Who are you people? Well, this has to be how I advance it some way then, right? I don't have a membership card, okay? Who are you anyway? And I can't answer that question. Well, what do I do then? I don't know how to advance that in that case. The heck? Don't I want to come this way while I'm working? Okay, you got me, I'm not working, but don't I deserve a break? I don't know what to do then. First scrub to eat cotton candy. Really, I kicked off the trend. Okay, there's multiple people I can ask about that. Oh, I gave mine away. Who do you give it to? Scrub I met near the Dark Thorns in the East Ruins. We got to be such good pals, it seemed like a no-brainer. Guess maybe that's the way to go? My quest was updated, and now that's the guy that is marked. Which means that, like, I need to find the person that he sent me to, I guess. I can go to, like, the main head honcho building here just to see if there's something going on. I thought I saw a main head honcho building here, yeah. Just to see what's happening here. Isn't it the Clink, the Husko? You know, the small room with bars for bad people? Can't let you in. We don't even know you. The only jail in the whole game, and it's here. So, in East Ruins, you said? Hold on. Scrub to eat cotton candy. Gave mine away. The Dark Thorns in the East Ruins. Maybe this? I don't know. Guess I'll head south and see what happens. Alright, well, now that I have some more time to ramble about stuff, Bravely Default 2's gameplay. So, the gameplay of Bravely Default and Bravely Second was really cool, because there's all sorts of crazy combinations that you can make with the jobs and the sub-jobs, and it feels very much like a game that expects you to break it in half and find, like, some super crazy busted combinations. And you absolutely can, by combining, like, all sorts of just the right things in just the right way, and get, like, some really cool, crazy busted stuff. I especially love the classes in Bravely Default. Not Bravely Default 2. Bravely Second. I think that they're really cool. And then with Bravely Default 2... I'm high. Maybe I have to kill those guys first. Bravely Default 2, once again, has jobs and sub-jobs. But in Bravely Default and Bravely Second, it felt very much like, as long as you made, like, a pretty cool combination of whatever things, you could find, like, a way forward through any boss, as long as someone isn't depending on using, like, an element that the boss absorbs. Like, if you're fighting, like, a water-based boss, like Rusalka, then you probably don't want, like, a party member that's spamming water spells, like, stuff like that, where there are some things that you can't always do, but, like, usually pretty obvious things. Okay, I would probably enjoy the secret bad ending in Persona 4. Whoa. Here. Hi. Those just said they got their membership card here, but there's no one around. What do I do? Membership card? Oh, you want to become a member of the sweet spot? Well, I was told I'd get a membership card here, but there's nothing around. Lucio, that joker that must have been pulling my sprig. They're gonna be in a rift in there. This is my friend from the southern corner of Fair and Wetlands. Would you believe they actually have a huge patch of dark thorns right at their home? Some scrubs get all the luck. Oh, or maybe it's at the home. I don't know. This is what it could well be. So it's gotta be this way. So, yeah, you can get creative with all sorts of combinations and make, like, your own special builds to find a way through and always be able to pass, like, pretty much any boss. I thought that that was something really cool about it. But in Bravely Default 2, it felt very much a lot of the time where if you're not using specific builds, you're getting screwed. And you basically have to, like, reformat your party before so many major bosses just because of, like, the sheer amount of things that they'll counter. Like, again, in Bravely Default and Bravely Second, the only things that there would be like a hard counter to would be like pretty obvious things. Like don't use a water attack on the water boss. They'll absorb HP that way. Like they'll drain it. Super secret this way or something then? Is that what that means? But all the counters in Bravely Default 2, like, and when I say counters, I mean like literal counters. That was a new mechanic that they put in Bravely Default 2, where bosses will have what are called counters. I would say Bravely Second is good. Yes, absolutely. I love Bravely Second. It's probably my favorite out of the three, honestly. But Bravely Default is pretty close. It's definitely the best by far gameplay-wise. Might be the worst music-wise. And the story's okay. It's not amazing, but it is okay. It's better than Bravely Default 2, but that's not saying much. So, a counter in Bravely Default 2 is if you do an action that the boss has a counter for, they will just immediately strike you as a counter for that. So, some bosses will have a physical attack counter. So, like, oh, you hit them with a physical attack? I guess they get to hit you back now and take off, like, half your health. The worst one was Anihal, I believe her name was. She had a physical attack counter, and they don't always proc. It's sometimes, but it's like half the time where they, oh, it gets better. It definitely gets better. It starts out expecting you to think that it's like super typical, but it does get better. I won't say that's like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece story, but I'd say that's pretty good at the end of the day. It's definitely pretty alrighty. Not one of my favorites of all time, but it's pretty alright. It does some cool things. And with Anihal, so you hit her with a physical attack, and she procs physical attack counter. She uses one of her animal summons, this sandworm, to counter hit everybody in your party. So you hit her with a physical attack, guess what? You're just countered and like half your health is gone on everybody. And if that wasn't bad enough, everyone is inflicted with blindness who got hit by that. Her counter inflicts blindness, a party-wide blindness, assuming it doesn't miss someone. And now nobody can hit things, and now you have to waste like the next several turns just curing this blindness is the thing. And as punishment for using physical attacks. So if you're faced with a boss like that, you have to just like reformat your entire squad around something like magic if you don't want to be hit by that. I remember even using an item in my inventory trying to get around that. Like, I have a free turn here, but I don't really want to use a physical attack because I'm probably going to do a physical, she's probably going to do a physical attack counter. But I don't have anything to heal. Is there just some random item I can use in my inventory to get like some damage? I saw like a throwing dagger and it's like, oh, that'd be like a range attack or something like that. Let's just throw a dagger and get a little bit of damage. So I threw a dagger and then I procced physical attack counter. And then she just wrecked my squad and then I died and that was a game over. And because I used a singular throwing knife item on her. And she wrecked my entire party as punishment. I was so pissed off at that. Like, the counters are so bad. So there's physical attack counter. There's healing counters as well. So someone just took damage, so now you need to have someone heal them. Get punished for that. So, like, what do? Just don't heal? Like, what the heck do you do then? There's, like, no way going around that. Like, there are situations where you have to heal, and then you heal, the boss gets healing counter, and then they just, like, punch and potentially one-shot your healer as punishment for healing, like, some injured person. It's so dumb. Like, I think the counters in Bravely Default 2 are one of my least favorite mechanics in, like, any game ever. Because there's some things that you just have to do. They're not, like, niche things. But yeah, not sure how to feel about the weird book that predicts the future type of thing. Honestly, not sure what the purpose of it is for this story. You'll find out eventually. Yep, you counter heals. Well, counter by punching them in the face. So, there's magic heals, there's physical attack, there's physical attack counters, magical attack counters, there's healing counters, there's all sorts of counters in the game. So, again, like, if there's gonna be, like, not a literal counter in the terms of, like, how Bravely Default 2 handles it, but just, like, a counter in terms of, like, it counters it in Bravely Default, Bravely Second, it's going to be something very obvious. Like, again, don't use water on the water boss. Don't use fire on the fire boss. It's going to be obvious things like that that don't just invalidate half your kit. It's going to be like super general broad things that just like potentially invalidate your whole squad, like physical attack counters. So, like, you might have to reformat your entire team before any given boss. And okie doke, nice job, Guzma. Your healing now deals damage to yourself. Yep, that's how it goes in Bravely Default 2. So, in Bravely Default and Bravely Second, you can make basically whatever build you want for your squad, as long as it seems like something that would work and be good and cool. Like, if it sounds in your head like it would work, then it's probably gonna work, and you can probably use it on basically any boss in the game. Like, you might have to iterate as the game goes on and find ways to improve it, but Bravely Default and Bravely Second promoted creativity. Like, make something that seems strong to you, and you'll be able to get through. Bravely Default 2, you have to redesign your squads before so many of the bosses if you don't want to get wrecked because of things like magic counter or physical attack counter. Where it's like, oh, the boss has these things? Time to redo my squad for specifically this boss if I don't want to get wrecked. And it's just annoying to just have to go into your menu every single time and redo your squads and stop using like the really strong, cool thing that you concocted in your head because you have to come up with like some precise solution specifically for this boss. And because of like how many ailments the bosses put on, you're sometimes expected to put on like accessories to specifically counter that, or change out your equipment to counter that boss in some way. Like, for example, I mentioned earlier how Anihal has a physical counter that will just like blind your whole party. And I would get comments on my YouTube videos on it sometimes that are like, oh, it's actually super easy. You just need to learn to strategize. You see, you can put on anti-blindness accessories, and then you don't have to worry about being blinded anymore. Like, you're just not good enough at video games. You just need to learn to strategize. And it's like, putting on an anti-blindness accessory to prevent being blinded by the boss is the strategic equivalent of those games that are for toddlers, those little puzzles for toddlers, where you have to put the right shape into the right hole. Like the square into the square hole, the circle into the circle hole, the triangle into the triangle hole. That's what is strategy to some people, and it genuinely pissed me off that some people were like, oh, you just need to learn to strategize. Just put on, like, the accessory that counters that. That is a toddler's level of strategy there. Put everything into the square hole. And that's the way that it used to be in Bravely Default and Bravely Second. If you figure out a strong enough build, you can put everything into the square hole. But in Bravely Default 2, you have to use the exact holes. Whether it's to get around, like, a physical attack counter, or because the boss will just constantly spam like a party-wide effect like blindness, and now you have to grind money to be able to afford enough to be able to buy accessories for everybody, and now you have to change out your builds and equipment to be able to have like that accessory on, or that equipment that prevents that specific status effect, because if you don't do it you get wrecked, and it's just so annoying. It doesn't promote you coming up with like your own solutions. It just expects you to do like the one solution that you expect, and if you don't, like, get fucked is what it is. And some bosses just will not take damage to certain things. Like, again, in Bravely Default and Bravely Second, it's usually pretty obvious. Like, don't use water against the water boss, don't use fire against the fire boss. But in Bravely Default 2, there's some bosses that just take 0 damage, not resist it, just take 0 damage to just straight up weapons for no reason. Not elements, but weapons. I guess the frog summoned the rain here, by the way. Like, I remember, I think it was in chapter 3, running into this boss that just will take no damage from swords. You try to use swords against this one boss, 0 damage. Well, I guess this character that I have in a sword class, I'm just gonna have to reclass them to something completely different and change their entire kit out, change all their skills out, because this boss, for some reason, takes no damage to swords. What's the explanation? Who knows? Who cares? Just because we want to make the player suffer. Like, it's so dumb. And then if you want to break the game in half, like in all the Bravely games, you can absolutely break the game in half. But in Bravely Default and Bravely Second, you need to get like really, really creative to break the game in half. You need to have like certain jobs and sub-jobs, and then have skills from other jobs that all perfectly together manage to break the game in a really cool and unique way. You want to break Bravely Default 2? Use the Beastmaster class. Done. You've broken the game. That's it. That's how you break the game in half, is by doing that. The reason for that is because Beastmaster has a skill called Creature Comforts, I believe it's called. I just call it Comfort Animals because it's funny to call it that. And Beastmaster, basically how it works, you remember that, Guzma? It's kind of like the Pokemon class, where you can catch monsters out in the field, and then you can summon them for help in battle. And they count as consumables for some reason. Like, let's say you caught 3 orcs. Now you have like 3 orc consumables that you can summon in battle. And also, let me just tell you, the UI for Beastmaster is awful. You go into your monster list, there's no indication of level, it's just a list of names, what element they are, and how many of them you have. There's no indication of what type of attack they'll do, if they'll even do an attack, maybe they'll heal you instead. What level they are, how much damage it's gonna be, there's no indication, it's just a list with no information. So, like, the whole gimmick of it sucks. But it works like Pokemon, where it's like you whittle down their health to increase their catch rate, and then you can try to catch them. And Creature Comforts is a skill that makes it so that the more creatures you've caught over the lifetime of the playthrough will boost your stats. Even if you've spent animals at that point. Like, let's say you caught 10 orcs, and then you spent 5. The game would still count you as having caught 10 orcs. It doesn't matter how many are in your inventory. It just counts, like, how many you've caught over the lifetime of the game. The amount of creatures you've caught over the lifetime of the game boosts your stats. What's the cap? There is none. There is no cap. It boosts your stats infinitely if you just keep catching creatures. So, I always had like a Beastmaster in my team. And throughout the game, whenever I got into a random encounter battle, I just spammed catching creatures. And on my own time, I would go around catching creatures. Because, like, with grinding raw level, it would get up to a point where, like, EXP really slows down and it takes a long time to grind. So if I was grinding on my own time, I would just go around, like, spam catching animals with, like, everybody in the Beastmaster class. And it would just keep going up. There was no cap. Your stats just kept going up. So I basically needed to have Beastmaster on everybody, either as their primary job or as their sub job, so that they would have access to the Creature Comfort skill. And through that, I had all 4 heroes as Beastmasters / sub Beastmasters by the end, and I just wrecked the final boss with it because my stats were to infinity. So in the end, well, not to infinity, but they were really, really high. So in Bravely Default and Bravely Second, you had to get really creative to break the game. Like, you had to really think about it, or find some crazy combination online that someone else came up with. But you had to do, like, crazy combinations to do it. You want to break Bravely Default 2.5? Just use Beastmaster and catch a bunch of dudes. Congratulations, now you have, like, a free victory for, like, every single battle for the entire rest of the game. Enjoy. Aren't you so good at video games? Like, good job. You managed to catch a whole bunch of creatures. Alright, I'll do this a couple times now. It's so dumb. So again, strategy, they just throw it all out the window for Bravely Default 2. There was so much strategy that can go into Bravely Default and Bravely Second, and it's just thrown out the window in Bravely Default 2. Like, the story makes no sense, and then the gameplay, like, is either do the exact thing the developers expect, or use Beastmaster and you win. Like, whoops. Well, I guess that works, though. Or not. Okay, like, it's, I did a little bit in some ways. I don't remember if I went, like, full in on some of the completely broken build. There's a build you can do in Bravely Default 1 that just makes it so you'll never take damage ever. I don't think I did that, but I have done it historically. Like, I don't think I did it on the channel, but I did it when I played Bravely Default for the first time. There we go. Let's do this, I guess. But, yeah, you want to break the game in Bravely Default 2, just use Beastmaster and catch a bunch of things. So you should just catch the weakest monsters hundreds of times? Yes, and that's what I did. And then my stats went insane. So, I'm pretty sure my stats were, like, doubled or tripled at that point, all in all. Like, I couldn't even imagine taking off Beastmaster at that point. Just because, like, I compared the before and after for my stats, and it was just, like, night and day. I wonder if it's still in my album, because I remember taking screenshots to compare it. This would be, like, years ago now. Can I see when these were saved? Okay, that was Pokemon Legends Arceus. That was Pokemon BDSP. There was Miitopia. Here it is. Was this my before and after? I think this is my before and after. Like, so level 65, so my level's the exact same. But you can see my classes here are Vanguard and Monk. Here. Oh, I think was it Freelancer that I went into? And then I got access to the Beastmaster skill? Anyway, somehow I had access to the Beastmaster skill. So my HP, 9533. My MP, well, let's just look at them one at a time. MP, 459. 774. No, this was something else. This was some other comparison then. That is still a pretty big increase. I think this was the increase of Freelancer where it increases your stats based on, like, how many jobs you mastered. Maybe that isn't the Beastmaster comparison. There's Beastmaster. Is this a before and after thing? Maybe this is with the skill equipped and unequipped. Physical attack 865, 999. Physical defense 620, 969. Magical attack 538, 901. Magical defense 601, 967. I'm pretty sure 999 is the cap for these things, so I was getting pretty close. Restorative power 347, 431. I have Beastmaster on both of them. I think this must just be like the skill, is what it must be. Maybe. Hold on. Do I have a just raw Beastmaster thingamabob comparison here? There I was putting everyone into Beastmaster and seeing that one person's HP was maxed out and the others were getting close. Wait, do I have like before and after here? No, I don't think I do. Don't think I have a before and after on that one. Where was it? Spirit Master? What was the comparison here? Monk? Freelancer? Gosh dang it. Beastmaster? Brave Bear? I think this is with the skill equipped and unequipped from Beastmaster. So yeah, physical attack, physical defense, all these things 221 with the Beastmaster skill 579 for a whole bunch of those. Like, it's just... I think that's with the skill equipped and unequipped, is what it is. Without, like, taking the job off, is what it must have been, is why I have this comparison. Like, so my stats were getting more than doubled for a lot of them. And it was just insane. So, it's so good that there's literally no point to not using Beastmaster. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, use a Brave class to beat the final boss. I used that plus Beastmaster. Like you can see my Adele build there was Brave Bear plus Beastmaster. So like, yeah, there's that. It's just crazy. I only see what I missed here. We have the demo out very soon right now. It's got 10 to 15 hours of gameplay, including chapters 1 to 3. Plan to have it out by January 1st, 2025. Might have some people around here play test it early. I was hoping that development keeps on going well. Okay, there was no, like, major thing here, just, unless this is a membership badge. Nope. Alright, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what that is. I don't know where this guy is. I'm so confused right now. I really don't like Bravely Default 2. The one thing I like about it is the music. Like, it's gotta have, like, one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in my life. But it's copyright, so I can't play it on any stream, or else I'm gonna get immediately demonetized. So, like... As if it really matters here all that much, I guess. I guess I technically could. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure most of my Bravely Default 2 playthrough is demonetized due to copyright. So that just disincentivizes creators from covering the game. So the soundtrack is really, really good. But, yeah, you're... good luck listening to it. There are, like, people that have uploaded on YouTube and then, like, just... are okay with them not having monetization, I guess. Here, can I just... Because the spear guy is not working out for me here. Just capitalize on the opening and slash, or not. Okay, just do this. I do think it's one of my favorite soundtracks, but it really, really irks me how I can't really share it without being subject to, like, the Squeenix copyright gods. Like, just let me share that amazing soundtrack around. Because it really is legendary. That's the one good aspect of the game, I'd say. The art style is kind of ugly and weird and out of place for the Switch. The story is absolute ass. And the creativity of the gameplay was just thrown out the window for, like, the cookie cutter match the right shape in terms of strategy gameplay. And if you're not doing that, and you're just trying to get through with your own broken builds, good luck. This isn't Bravely Default or Bravely Second anymore. Like, it just sucks. What's going on there? And one of my good streamer friends, I remember hearing him say on stream at one point that Bravely Default 2 was, like, one of his favorite RPGs ever. And I just sat there silently judging him, like, what? How? Here, let's do this. Favorite class in Bravely Default and Bravely Second? I'm not quite sure about Bravely Default. Dark Knight is kind of fun in Bravely Default. Bravely Second is the one that got really spicy. I really like the Ranger one, that's like the cowboy looking thing. And I really like the one that Revenant is. Is it just Poltergeist? Is that what it's called? But the one that literally lets you possess your allies and then like get like major stat boosts. So rather than having like 4 regular units, you get like a super unit. Oh, no, Exorcist might be my favorite one. Like, the not healer. what Exorcist lets you do, it lets you undo things to like previous states. Like you can undo to 1 turn ago, 2 turns ago, or 3 turns ago, I think. So let's say the boss just majorly heal itself. You can undo that. Or let's say one of your allies is at full health, and then the boss just comes and one-shots them, and now they're down. Well, rather than using healing skills, you can use Exorcist's undo, and now they go back to the way they were a turn ago, and now they're back at like full health again and revived. So you can return things to previous state from a handful of turns ago. And it's like a weird different way of handling healing, slash being like a weird different support, slash support counter class, or something like that. What's the term for that? I don't know. But that one was really cool. I quite like that. I very much like to see more RPGs have something like that. So I think Exorcist might be my favorite in Bravely Second. I can name so many more cool classes in Bravely Second than I can in Bravely Default. Because Bravely Second really went ham on like doing the really cool, unique things. Like the possessing allies or undoing turns. There's a class that you can use for like cooking your allies stuff that'll buff them and cooking your foes stuff that'll debuff them. It's so silly. That was probably gotta be the crazy RPG character. I think the only other good thing too the game had going for it were some of the twists, like find out Adele was a fairy was crazy. Yeah, that was a pretty alright twist. And chapter 3 is definitely the strongest thing of the story. The little isolated Salem witch trial type story. Like that I liked. That was probably the only part of the story that I liked. Nothing beats fresh spun cotton candy. Not fair you got those dark stones growing right where you live, Blossu. Yeah, you get all the cotton candy you want. You lucked out. What if this is like an imposter here? That's what I thought too. So it is kind of inconvenient that most of my home is gone. Oh, maybe it's not a imposter. I don't know. He's complaining about things, but unlimited ones, unlimited cotton candy. Guess that's true. So what's the problem? You even have a membership card for the sweet spot. You've totally got it made. Yeah, but I would really like to have my home back. Alright, Rift in the Fair and Wetlands. So didn't give up on the Bravely Default playthrough. What games have you done it to? Probably in the next couple days here, I'll probably just make that one channel public. Most likely. Guzma sent me a message. I think it's basically done. The ones that I don't count here are ones that I don't consider as like a full playthrough. So like, let's see here. Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures, because that was never finished. I counted Roller Coaster Tycoon World just because I've done the first 10 parks, which is more than like anyone else can really say. That's what it was called, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, so it doesn't go as part of the tally. So like, gave up on Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures. You could argue about Roller Coaster Tycoon World, basically. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I never did the campaign of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, but like I could at some point if I want to. I don't know if I'd really want to. I just did like the multiplayer, so I'm not counting it as like a playthrough. It's more of like a showcase, so that's why it's not counted there. What else here? Let's see. Not a whole lot for a long time there. Let's see. Nothing there, I guess. And then there was a few this year. Where Pal World, I just did like the one-off showcase, Skull and Bones, because I can't. Do I not have Nightingale here? Well, I didn't add Nightingale to the list, but it would be one that isn't added to the tally either. Would be the case. So, yeah. So, not a massive ton, honestly. Usually when I start something on this channel, it's going to be seen through, even if it takes like years, like Tales of Symphonia. But yeah, finding out the prince was the villain too in the desert area was also another really good twist. I barely even remember that. That made it seem like the thief was the main villain of that area, only for him to get backstabbed and killed by the prince. He's saying, by the way, is the near endgame gameplay video for chapter 3. Gotcha. Because I found it boring. I was talking about this earlier in the stream, where that was like the Switch Monster Hunter game, where I just couldn't get into it. Like, way too grindy and repetitive and boring for me, so it wasn't up my alley. And apparently, like, I've heard some people say that that's not really a good starter one as well anyway. But it just didn't seem like my cup of tea, so I was like, I'm gonna be miserable if I keep on playing this game, because I just didn't really find it very fun. Was the case. I think I do, it's 1:03 in the morning. I do think I need to take like a quick washroom break, and then maybe I'll grab like a water refill or something like that. Is what I might just do. I think I'm gonna have to do a quick BRB here. It's not a bad idea. So I'll be back shortly. Haven't played a Monster Hunter yet? Well, I would not recommend Generations Ultimate, I don't think. But that's just me.